Estás viendo Canal América, televisión dominicana para el mundo.
Sometimes life can be so damn hard. You don't know where to go. Everything keeps falling apart. Yeah. You try to do your best, but only God knows that you've given everything you've got, but the world takes you down. You just keep moving on. Let your fears.
Welcome to A Time for Truth show. I'm your host, Dr. Bernard Fialkoff, and it's a pleasure to have you back with us again. Today, we're going to have a show that I know you're going to be very interested in. How to get off those pounds that just never came off after the last holidays. You know, those great chocolate treats were like just, you couldn't resist them. How to, when you go and you want to get your body into a certain shape and you go, wow, I'm getting older. It doesn't seem like it works the same anymore. What can I do? So today we have some answers for you, and I know you're going to enjoy it. So Buddha, if you can put on the screen the pictures of our special guest today. And I'm going to introduce Mr. Stephen Huang, originally from Taiwan, with a mechanical engineering degree from the University of California at San Diego. Mr. Huang has had varied professions, amazing, so many I'll try to give you a few: aerospace, mechanical engineering, with tech startups, entrepreneurship, public speaking, consultancy on business building, beauty, and health. To say he's tried it all is an understatement. His passion is to provide the knowledge to positively affect the lives of all of our world. He's spoken at global venues several times a year, including the Hong Kong Convention Center and the Hong Kong Stadium, with about 20,000 people present as he spoke. He designed the smallest digital mobile phone in the world and worked on prototypes for vertical short takeoff and landing aircraft. He's a humanitarian and is ambassador for Nourish the Children organization that currently feeds over 200,000 meals to starving children every year globally. Steve loves helping as a humanitarian and seeks, his mission basically is to empower all of us and those of us around him to achieve their dreams and goals throughout the globe. Well, I want to welcome, and Buddha, if you can put him up on the screen, Mr. Stephen Huang. Welcome to A Time for Truth, Mr. Huang.
Hi, Ben. Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here.
Well, I'm excited to have you. You're such a diverse guy, that we're going to have another show on those aircraft, because that sounds like, like Top Gun and really exciting. But today, let's do something exciting too on this diet, nutrition, weight loss. So what is it that motivated you to start on this field of empowering others?
Well, I mean, one of the things was like, I'm an immigrant, like you. I came from Taiwan. And, we came here because my parents had a dream to have a better life for us. And so as I grew up, I watched maybe too many movies of, these incredible things that America can offer. So that's what started. And I love people. I love helping people. I love helping people achieve their dreams and goals.
Well, you know what? That's a beautiful thing to do, and it's got to be very fulfilling. So I want to get right into your product and for the viewers. So tell us, how does your program focus on body image and improving body composition rather than what a lot of programs do, that it's a number. It's like, how much weight are you on the scale?
Okay. Well, if you can put up the first slide, that'd be very helpful.
Sure, Buddha.
So
the first slide for him, please.
So if you look at this, right, people are always talking about weight. I want to lose weight. Well, if you look at these two gentlemen here, okay, they're famous celebrities. They're both 210 pounds and 6'3", but which body shape would you rather have? Okay, so for me, I'd rather have the one on the left. But so when I look at this, you kind of look at it and realize it's not really just how many pounds you lose, because these guys weigh the same. But obviously the body structure, the composition is completely different. So if you can show slide 2, I can
Let's put the next slide on.
Explain a little bit. Perfect. So if you take these two guys, right, and do like a X-ray, you can look. One guy has a lot of muscle. The other guy one guy on the left has a lot of muscle, very little fat. The guy on the right has smaller muscle and much more fat. So they both weigh 210 pounds and 6'3", but that's why they look so different. So, okay, now we're done with the slide for now. So what happens is this. People go, okay, I want to lose weight. So first thing they think is, stop eating.
Right.
Let me just stop eating. And that actually causes more problems than it's worth. Because you will temporarily lose weight, but actually, what are you losing? You're losing some muscle, okay? You're losing some fat, but you're losing a lot of water. The best example is like, the fighters. You got the boxers.
Right.
One of those featherweight guys is, okay, I need to be 40 pounds, okay, to weigh in. And 2 days or like 5 days before, he realized, oh my God, I'm 145 pounds. So what does he do? He wraps himself in saran wrap and, plastic, and just drips and sweats off all that water. Well, he reaches his goal, but is that what we really want? For his case, yes, but not for, in terms of what people really want, is really they want the shape, and they want to be able to maintain that shape.
Mm-hmm. Very, very true. Because I like going to the gym and working out, so I'm actually very interested. Sometimes I blamed it on genetics, and so I'm interested very much in this next question that I want to give you. So how does this gene expression that you're working with, how does it help with this body composition and reducing weight?
Okay, so that's a very good question, because if you look at, when kids are young, right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. When people are young, and we had done some studies, and we took in the gene expression of kids, when people are young, and the gene expression expresses a certain type. So, for example, we find out, through the heat map, okay, that the gene expression for muscle building is higher when you're young. And the gene expression for example, like I'm giving you an example, like for example, storing fat is lower. Whereas when people get older, it kind of reverses, and we can see this, through this gene chip, okay. And so we found that, okay, well, this is what's happening. So how do we change that? How do we influence those genes to express like they were when they were young? Mm-hmm. So we found, okay, let's do some research. We found certain ingredients, certain natural ingredients that, are said to help people, boost metabolism or et cetera, et cetera. And then we go, okay, let's try it. So we have people take it, and we check this gene expression and say, hey, does it match? And we found that, well, with certain ingredients, certain things, it influences back to you. So basically, I'm almost 50, I'm 49 right now. Uh-huh. And, my gene expression, as I use these ingredients and technology, it will start influencing back to when it's young. So As a result, I can build my muscle faster. I can lose my fat faster.
Very interesting. I know that that's part of the puzzle because, it just seems like going to exercise, especially as I've gotten older, it's not the same result as I did when I was younger. And so that makes a lot of sense. Another thing I want to ask you is that most traditional diets, they seem to go for like a finite or a certain period of time, and then that's it. And what I was going to ask you is that in your plan, it seems like you incorporate a sustainable eating plan that's based on protein, fruits, and vegetables. So tell our viewers a little bit about how that works with your plan.
Okay, so the main thing that the traditional diet, I call it a yo-yo diet. You'll lose weight, you'll gain it back, you lose weight, you gain it back. Because a lot of times it's based off of just, I'm going to stop eating. I'm going to stop eating food, whatnot. So you lose the muscles that are there to help you burn off, the fat. So that thing starts shrinking and shrinking. You lose the water, so of course your weight goes down. So it's not very sustainable because eventually you're going to get hungry. You're going to start eating again. And with the muscle shrinking, it's going to burn off, less calories than what it used to. So in the program, we suggest that people definitely, you got to eat. You eat your proteins, your fruits, your vegetables, your 3 meals a day. And then also you have little snacks in between. So you keep that metabolism high. So actually it burns off all these calories. You need to get at least like 30 grams, of proteins, at each of the meals and whatnot. So it can get up to a certain place where you start burning a lot more fat. So the key is to maintain that burn level high instead of just, most of the time we eat like a big meal at lunch and then a dinner, or some people just a huge meal at dinner. They don't eat anything for breakfast or lunch and just that. So the way to do this is to maintain that level of calorie burn. Okay, and with the products we have, it helps, helps you keep the cravings down. Okay, and it adjusts the right, the gene expressions. So you start building so for example, like someone who exercises, it's going to benefit even more because it'll help you, build those muscles faster and also keep the fat, from coming on as much.
Well, that sounds good to me. I'm curious because you said something, and so you're saying that at each meal we should have about 30 grams of protein, you're saying, or?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and do you suggest that at only 3 meals, or some people say to eat 5 times a day, smaller meals? How would you suggest that?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So 3, like kind of smaller size meals, and then 2 snacks in between those. So basically you're eating 5 times. You got a smaller meal, a snack, smaller meal, snack, smaller meal.
But each time you're saying, even at the snacks, to get the 30 grams of protein in each one of the 5?
Yeah, there's like you could get it through nuts and different things like that.
I see. Okay, very interesting. I think it's an important point. So how does the physical activity in what you call your program is called TR90, right?
Yep.
Okay, so how does the physical activity in your TR90 program help to provide an optimal balance for the person?
Good question. So when you're doing a little bit of movement here, okay, it actually will support the whole program because you increase your metabolic rate. So you have burning going on, and you increase the metabolic rate by doing a little bit of exercise. I mean, you're working out, that's great. A lot of people on the program, mainly they just go walk and do, little things. You got to get the body moving. Okay. Right. But if you're working out, it works even better because it helps build those muscles faster.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, one thing that you mentioned that I don't know if our viewers know, and really I didn't really pay much attention to it, but it's interesting because then if you have more muscle, then you're telling that your metabolic rate is going to be different than if you have less muscle.
Absolutely. So that's why you have people who, who are fit. You're a very fit guy, so you could probably go on longer, even if you kind of cheat a little bit and, get off your diet or, go on a nice party. Your body will maintain because you have more muscles to burn off all those calories. The basic is literally the key ingredient for losing weight is really calories in and calories out. How do you burn those calories that you just eaten out? And with more fat and muscle will both burn calories, but the muscle will burn it more efficiently.
Interesting. Well, one thing that I wanted to mention as we're doing the show, and it just popped into my head, but I see that this is actually like a game. It's very interesting. It gives people something to look forward to. And I was thinking, with all this craziness that we've gone through in the last year and a half to 2 years, that you know what? They could do your program and make this like more of a game and get some excitement. They could maybe do it with their spouse, or if they have children, maybe they can go with their son and daughter to the gym and, make it like an activity. I think it would be a great way to extrovert people. I wanted to ask you, because I know there's so many more questions. So how does weight loss vary? Let's go with a few questions here. How does it vary in terms of sleep? Because I don't know about you, but some days I don't have enough hours in the day and I don't get as much sleep as I would like to get. So how does it vary with sleeping?
Yes. Well, with sleep is important. You gotta sleep. Your body kind of does this thing while you sleep. So, I think to have to have good weight loss, you got to sleep enough. If you're not sleeping enough, I suggest, I don't know, I'm not sure what's the best way to sleep, but you gotta just, I don't know, just sleep. But it will definitely enhance basically, the whole program if you sleep enough.
Interesting. One of the things that I do, I'll just offer to the viewers out there, is before I go to sleep, I take this calcium magnesium powder, which is really good for the nervous system and tends to get you more calm. And I tend to want to go with my wife when we can for a walk at night and walk enough to relax. And so, those are things that I guess our viewers could try. So I wanted to ask you, in terms, again, with weight loss, how does water intake or dehydration factor into the weight loss?
Yeah, so that is an important part. When people start, like I said earlier, people will shed water, right? If you shed water, you're going to lose weight. But that's water. That's not the real reason why people are doing this. You really want to build the muscle. Now, the lady sometimes says, well, if I build too much muscle, I'm going to look like those, like the hawk. No, you would actually tone down, okay? So for the ladies, don't worry, it's actually good. So you do want to drink water. You don't want to dehydrate yourself. And the goal is not to lose water. The goal is to lose the fat. And one more point, we were talking about sleep. I just want to add one more thing to that.
Sure.
You want to. I tend to try to eat earlier. It doesn't always happen for me, but try eating earlier is definitely important, because when you eat early, you have time for your body to, to burn it off before you go to sleep. So try not to do big meals like too late. Try to do it much earlier. That's what worked for me. But, I don't always do it, but I also exercise a lot. So, you can cheat a little bit.
You're giving away one of your tricks then. So for the viewers out there, is if we're going to cheat, we got to exercise a little bit more to make up the damage with the cheating. So thank you for sharing that. And so how does another question? How does stress level impact on weight loss?
Yeah. So when people are stressed, I don't know. This is what I personally notice. I notice a lot of times when people are stressed, they snack on comfort food. I don't know why, but that's just what I've seen. Okay, and yeah, like people will eat, when they're stressed, they'll snack on little things in here and there. So you're increasing calorie, remember. So all of a sudden you're doing 4,000 calorie, 5,000 calorie. Well, you have to burn it off. Calorie in, you need calorie out. So
Right.
if you're burning off typically a person 1,500 calories a day, well, you just got 2,500 calories left over that's going to be converted and stored into fat. So, stress is, it will indirectly, cause like kind of weight gain. So one of the things that we do is we have something called that has it's called cortisol. So it helps like smooth out the cortisol levels. I think when we were, in the caveman eras where there's fight or flight, you see a saber-tooth tiger, you're like, okay, I gotta run, So those
Right.
things turn on. But nowadays, there's no saber-tooth tigers, but I don't know, maybe you see a deadline of stress, so it turns on. So if we can kind of like, smooth out those levels, you'll feel better, and then you won't snack as much and gain as much
Interesting.
weight.
Interesting. And what is that product called again that you were talked about?
That's called cortisol. So it
Cortisol.
has it, yeah. So, yeah, I think that all the things is to help us because you mentioned it. Stress is definitely. I see people stressed and then they eat and then they go like this, right? And I mean, I've done it too. So we got to just have to handle that.
Absolutely. Well, that makes a lot of sense, and it's good because, again, if you get into this diet and this plan, it kind of also makes you aware not to take so much stress, to not pay so much attention, maybe some negative things, and get a little bit of extroverted activity. So I'm curious, how does do you, in terms of food choices, or what people eat, what would you say about that in terms of that and weight gain?
I mean, smaller portions of, protein, vegetables, fruits, they're fine, and then there's a lot of choices, don't get too like, what people call the not so good fats or whatnot. I think, and that's, I don't know, that there's like debates about, so, we won't get into that. Just focus on the, good proteins, there's also good nuts and stuff. I mean, if you want to eat a steak, you can eat a steak, but, there's, you gotta do first thing I realize is you gotta be able to do something that's comfortable. You gotta start out there. There's a gradient, you can't just jump into something like, okay, we're just gonna go from I'm eating all sorts of, like juicy steaks and I'm gonna eat nuts all of a sudden. I don't know if you can do it, but that's a little tough. But if you can start doing it gradient step by step, I think that's perfect. And I think to your last point, you know, focus on the good, focus on the opportunity of the world, focus on the exciting parts of your life, you know, that actually helps a lot.
Makes a lot of sense. One of the points that you made, I think, is I want to repeat because it makes so much sense. Is sometimes we get so stressed out, and we get home and you eat just to get relaxed, and it's almost like you're taking out the frustrations of the day by eating. And some of my friends have said to me that sometimes they feel that's what happens with them. So I think that's a really good point that you brought out, is to, maybe when you get home, maybe the first thing you do is not just start eating something, but maybe you go out and extrovert to do something that you like doing, and maybe do it with your spouse, and or maybe listen to music or something that gets you out of what happened during that day if it was a tough day for you. Another question I have for you, Steve, is how about, because I know some people will have this question, how about alcohol? How does alcohol impact on weight gain or weight loss? Either one.
Well, I think alcohol, it's for me, I don't drink. Okay, and I think it was just because of college I had one really bad hangover. I said no more. But in terms of alcohol, I think it doesn't really help in terms of like weight loss, because like one of the main thing I seen is, if you're drinking a lot of alcohol, you might be a little bit kind of like hungover and not aware of what's going on. So that might actually expand into awareness of what's going on in your life in terms of what you eat and whatnot, and I think that can possibly affect weight loss. Whereas a lot of my friends that they a little bit of a sip of wine here and there, a beer, I don't think that's going to cause a big problem. That's the bottom line. But I think drinking a lot, I don't know, but in my opinion, I think that might affect it because the overall mood level or of myself if I do that.
That makes a lot of sense. I know you had two other slides. Did you want to utilize those last two slides, or?
I think we're okay with that. Yeah.
We're okay with that. Okay, no problem. All right. So I know probably our viewers are watching and they're saying, well, yeah, but Mr. Steve, you look at you. You look like you're a guy who was always in great shape and anything's going to work for you. So what, and I'm sure since you're in this line and you do the public speaking, what would you tell people what kind of mindset they should be in?
Okay, well, first of all, you have to have an intention, right? Intention for whatever you want, And for me, I think for me, for my own opinion, I never thought about weight loss. I've always thought that I'm going to have great shape. But there are times where my belly starts increasing, because I've been eating too much, enjoying life a little bit. But then immediately I go, okay, you know what? That's fine. I accept that is. And I say, okay, well, it's now, but I want to be in this shape because I want to do such and such. I want to go surfing more or whatnot. And then I'm not working to get rid of that fat. I'm just working so I can be the best shape so I can catch more waves. So that helps a lot to have a goal, outside of just losing weight. So why are you losing weight? Why are you doing it? Is it because you want to get in a sexy dress for dancing or whatnot? And so, I've been on the program myself, and I seen my stomach kind of flattened out. So the TR90 program works really good for me as well. So, but it works really good you don't have to be big. You could be actually very muscular, and that will help actually build muscle and lose fat. So it works on both ends of the spectrum.
Well, if people are interested in contacting you, I'd like you to mention your email, please.
Yeah, you can send it to stevehuang888@gmail.com.
Okay, can you repeat it one more time?
STEVEHUANG888@gmail.com.
Great. Well, you know what? It's been a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you so much.
That
was
my
a pleasure.
You know what? I had a good time, and I'm going to have to try out this product, to see how it works. And, you have to send me some of this. And, for those of you out there who are watching the show, try out the mental approach. Try out what Steve has suggested to you today. And may you, have the shape that you've always wanted. And maybe that ideal weight that you've thought about can get there. Or who knows, maybe like he said, the weight doesn't actually change, but your body shape changes. But I want to thank Steve Huang for coming on the show. And for those of you watching, thank you for tuning in. And I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of A Time for Truth. Enjoy your day.
Sometimes life can be so damn hard. You don't know where to go. Everything keeps falling apart. Yeah. You try to do your best, but only God knows that you've given everything you've got, but the world takes you down. You just keep moving on. Let your feet